It's just so crazy to me that we work for something that's not even real. We give away so much of our time, effort, energy, resources, our skills to earn something that has literally no value. It can be created out of nothing, it can be printed. We give away all of our time, all of our resources. Think about how much time we spend going to school, how much we spend on college. How many people have student loans that they're still paying off after 20 years of graduating college? I'm sure that there are probably a lot of people watching this video that are dealing with this, and they spend all of their time, energy, effort, resources to work a job in order to borrow more money, to buy a house, to buy a car. When they go to the bank just creates more of this money out of thin air. And again, we're giving everything away for this money, for these pieces of paper, for these pieces of cotton, for digital units now, not even real money. We're giving away all of our skills, all of our time, this precious resource that we'll never get back. We're giving it away to get back nothing. Nothing. It's not real. Think about how many times you even touch your money. Think about how many times you even use physical money. And when you do get physical money, think about how it was created. A $100 bill costs like 12 cents to make. When it's digital, it's free to make. Think about how many times you've probably canceled on a hobby, on a get together with friends or family, just to go to work. The biggest scam here is that there's a group of people that can keep printing more of it. They can keep creating more of it. It's like if you're playing a game of Monopoly and one person just keeps printing more and more money. They keep printing more and more money. They can't go bankrupt. Everybody else can go bankrupt, but they can't. And at some point, something works to their advantage and they win the game because they keep printing more and more money. They keep printing more and more and more and more, and nobody can stop them from doing that. This is exactly what the current system is like. In the current system, the people who are friends of politicians, people who are friends of leaders, they get unlimited shots because they can keep borrowing more and more money. They can keep getting their companies funded. They can keep having bills passed that work in their advantage. But the regular person, me, you, we're working jobs. If we mess up, we lose everything. And this is what the system is based on. The system is based on one group of people having the wealth forever because the money that we get paid can be created out of nothing. So let's say some wealthy person, some wealthy executive, they buy a house. They can go ahead and borrow against that house. They can borrow these pieces of paper that we have to earn against that house that they own. They can create more money, the thing that we're working for. We're giving away our weekends for, our weekdays for. We're giving away time with our kids, our family, our parents to earn these pieces of paper. And these executives who have houses, who have assets can borrow against those houses. And this isn't me talking badly about executives. They're doing what the system allows them to do. I think the problem is the system. I think the problem is this form of money that we use that can be created out of nothing. In this system, everything that we need to survive keeps getting more and more expensive, while the things that we don't need keep getting cheaper and cheaper and better quality. The food keeps getting worse and worse. We keep eating more and more garbage. All the things that we had before, exact same foods, are costing way more. We're eating more and more processed foods. So the quality of the food is dropping. The average quality of what you eat is dropping, but the cost is still going up. Think about housing. We live in smaller and smaller spaces now, and it's costing us more and more to maintain those properties. We have to rent. More people are renters now. I read a stat that said that first-time home buyers in Ontario are 36 years old on average. 36. The median is probably a lot higher than that because there are people who are young who are able to get money from their family. They have their parents who already own a house who can borrow against a house and give it to their kids and give them a step ahead. But then there are people who don't have that, who don't have that support, who are forced to save to buy a house. And then by the time they've saved enough to buy that house, the price of the house has gone up and they can no longer afford the down payment. They get outbid by investors, by people who can buy a house, then they can borrow money against that house to buy another house and then borrow more money to buy another house. They can get 20, 30, 50 houses using money that was created out of nothing. And then they can rent those same houses to you. And you have to go to work and earn that money. This system is so broken and there is a solution, but people don't want the solution. They want something that the authorities that they trust have approved for them. They want stocks. They want to be able to use this broken system to profit, to buy stocks, and then have passive income in the future, have more money in the future. That's what they want. They haven't even thought of leaving the system and going to a new one. Most people are just getting stuck in that same trap where they're buying real estate, they're buying houses, and they're thinking the same way that their parents, their grandparents did. And I think that those people are going to get screwed. I think those people are going to completely get screwed over because the price of housing is going to decrease because there's now a parallel system. Because of this solution to the problem we have of money being printed out of nothing. The solution is something that most people are ignoring because the people that they trust, their financial advisors, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all these people that they think have their best intentions in mind, are telling them that it's not the solution. So the people they like, people who are very, very wealthy, who succeeded in this current financial system with a broken form of money, don't like the solution. So the people who are affected by this problem aren't looking at the solution seriously. And the solution that I'm referring to here is Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is the solution to this entire problem that we have. On a Bitcoin standard, housing gets cheaper. On a Bitcoin standard, cars get cheaper. On a Bitcoin standard, food gets cheaper. If you save in Bitcoin over US dollars or stocks or houses, the price of everything that you want is going to decrease over time and the value is going to increase. So, what I mean by this is that the quality of the things that you buy will go up while the pricing will decrease. You'll be able to buy higher and higher quality goods for lower and lower prices on Bitcoin because there's only a finite number of Bitcoin available. Bitcoin incentivizes individuals to create solutions to problems that they or other consumers may have by bringing products and services to the market and getting paid for creating those products and services. By being real money and not fake money that can be created out of nothing, Bitcoin forces the market to solve problems that people may have. Let me give you an example here. I create personal finance and Bitcoin content because I can get paid for doing so. I know there's a gap in the market and I know people are willing to pay me to learn from me. So I create this content and bring it to the market. Bitcoin incentivizes me to create that educational material and bring it to the market as soon as possible because I know that over time, the price of Bitcoin is going to increase. I think that as more people figure out how Bitcoin works, they're going to be contributing their time, resources, and energy to other problems. So, right now, the majority of people don't know what Bitcoin is, but over time, they're going to figure it out and they're going to want more Bitcoin. And the only way to get more Bitcoin will be to get paid in it. This ties together the concept that Bitcoin runs out at every price. At some point, people won't want pieces of paper for their Bitcoin. Bitcoin is better money than the US dollar. So all of those problems that you have with the current financial system, they don't exist on a Bitcoin standard. You get paid in a form of money that can't be created out of nothing. So nobody can create this money and flood the market with it. So if governments make mistakes and they don't have enough Bitcoin, they will go bankrupt because they will have to deal with the consequences of the mistakes that they made. The good thing is that outside of that country with a government that fails, nobody else will be impacted because the price of Bitcoin won't be based on some random imaginary fiat currency. The price of Bitcoin is going to be based on the economy that forms around Bitcoin with all of these products and services that you can pay for with Bitcoin. So, as more things can be bought with Bitcoin, the price of everything decreases because the supply of Bitcoin is going to remain finite no matter what. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and nobody can change this. Right now, we're still living in a system where you can buy Bitcoin with a form of money that can be created out of nothing. For example, Michael Saylor from Strategy just came out and gave another announcement of buying another 7,000 Bitcoin with money that they borrowed, that they basically created out of nothing. They created shares, they sell those shares into the market, and they get cash, and they buy Bitcoin with that cash. That's crazy to me. It's insane that they can use their position in the equity markets and the bond market to borrow money and buy Bitcoin when everybody else has to work for it and they have to use their time, energy, and resource and their skills to make that Bitcoin. It makes me a little angry to know that Strategy is using this technique by taking advantage of the fiat currency financial system to buy this form of money that can't be created out of nothing. They're using their position in the equity and bond markets to buy as much Bitcoin as they can. And while it makes me angry, I can't hate on them because They're taking advantage of a loophole that every single person on earth has. Everybody on earth has the ability to buy Bitcoin. Everybody can buy Bitcoin. But what they're doing is they're ignoring it. They're not even buying the small amounts that they can afford. They're not even buying $1, $2, $5 a day, $5 a week, $5 a month, $5 a year. Most people have zero Bitcoin. And what's going to happen is that they're going to have to work for Bitcoin. When the world goes to a Bitcoin standard, when it drops fiat completely, when it drops the US dollar, when it exits that system that's designed to keep us broke forever, when the entire world agrees that we want to go to a Bitcoin standard, the US dollars that we have are going to be worthless. They're going to be worth nothing. They're going to buy zero things. Bitcoin is so much better as money than the US dollar because it can't be created out of nothing. Bitcoin is the only form of money that we've ever discovered that has a finite supply that can be confirmed, and it can be sent and received natively on the internet without any third parties. People think that Bitcoin is a scam because they haven't done the research. They don't know what it is. They haven't done 5, 10, 15 hours of research learning what Bitcoin is. They haven't spent any time figuring out what Bitcoin could be. Most people don't want solutions. They just want to complain about the problems that exist in their lives. They don't want to learn about Bitcoin. They don't care what Bitcoin could be. They don't care where Bitcoin could go. They're going to wait until Bitcoin is millions of dollars. They're going to keep ignoring it. They're going to ignore Bitcoin until it reaches a million, 2 million, 5 million, $10 million. They're not going to buy Bitcoin because it doesn't give them instant gratification. It doesn't skyrocket overnight. It doesn't do that. It does it slowly over time. And it pulls back sometimes. It drops 20, 30, 50%. And that's painful. People don't want to go through pain. They want convenience. They want stability. They want security. That's why people will continue to work for the US dollar. That's why the majority of people will continue to work for the US dollar until the US dollar is worthless, until they're getting paid thousands of US dollars per hour, even though the US dollar is worth nothing. They're going to get forced to use Bitcoin when Bitcoin is the only money that exists. They're going to be working for a few hundred Satoshis per hour when today they could earn thousands of Satoshis by exchanging their hourly wage for Bitcoin. Satoshis are just fractions of Bitcoin. You can buy any fraction of Bitcoin if you want to. Think of it like dollars and cents. So $1 is 100 cents. One Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis. So if you want to, for $1, you could buy 1,000 Satoshis. Then you could buy another 1,000. Then you could buy another 1,000. You could get to a million Satoshis for only $880, $890 today. But most people aren't going to take advantage of this. Today, you can spend $880 to get 0.01 Bitcoin, but most people aren't going to do it because they're going to keep ignoring Bitcoin. They're going to keep waiting until a million Satoshis cost them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know how difficult and annoying it can be to wrap your head around certain Bitcoin concepts. So what I did was I created the Bitcoin Fundamentals mini course. I would highly recommend checking this out. I was selling it before. Now it's part of the community. It's only $20 a month for the community. You learn all these different topics. Go check out the community. Go check out the course. The course is in the classroom section of the community. We also do weekly live sessions. So go check it out. It's in the description below. It's the very first link that you'll see. So the problem here is that the money that you're earning is fake. You're spending all of your time, resources, energy, your skills to work a job that's going to pay you in fake money. The solution is working for a form of money that can't be created out of thin air, even though the solution is constantly being talked about. I talk about it every single day. There are thousands of videos uploaded about Bitcoin every single day. Most people aren't looking for a solution, though. Like I said, they're just looking to continue complaining about their problems. If you wanted to, you could solve your financial problems for years, for decades, by spending $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 on Bitcoin. Get a side hustle. Find ways to earn more money. Cut your expenses. Don't go get your coffee every single day. I don't care what the solution is going to be. If you have to go do Uber, go and do it. I think it's worth it. I think you're going to be securing yourself financially for years, for decades. If you can set up a dollar cost average of $100, $50, $20 a month, you're going to do insanely well over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Put away an amount of money that you don't need for the next 4 years, and you're not going to regret it. Think of this as your incentive to create more value and give it to the market. Do whatever you can and get your hands on as much Bitcoin as you possibly can, because when the train leaves the station, it's not coming back. When Bitcoin is at a million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, It's never coming back to five figures. You have this unique opportunity where you can buy the future money of the world and people are still accepting something that can be created out of nothing for it. I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know how long you'll have to buy one Bitcoin, point 0.1 Bitcoin, zero point zero 0.01 Bitcoin, but eventually every single person is going to be priced out because mathematically, not everyone on earth can own one Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin or point 0.1 Bitcoin or point 0.01 Bitcoin. There are people who own thousands of Bitcoin, and a lot of them are never, ever going to sell. So once you lose this opportunity to buy the Bitcoin that's on the market, you're never going to get it back. Get out of the current financial system, make the right decision for yourself, for your future family, for your parents, for your grandparents, whoever you're trying to support. Stack as much Bitcoin as you can every single week, every single day, every single hour if you have to. Even if you can only buy $1 a day, you're going to be ahead of the majority of people in the next 10, 20 years because the majority of people are going to watch this video and they're still going to ignore what they see. I told you what the problem is. I told you what the solution is. Now it's up to you. You can choose to make the decision that's going to help you in 10 years or it's going to hurt you. You get to decide whether or not in 2035 you have zero Bitcoin or you have, let's say, point 0.1, point 0.2, point 0.5. Don't ignore this. Study Bitcoin. I guarantee you that you won't regret it.